The Funhouse Corpse. It's 1976 at the New Pike Amusement Park in Long Beach, California. A crew is preparing a haunted house attraction when a worker stumbles upon a prop, a hanging corpse, its skin hardened, its expression frozen in terror. He reaches out to adjust it, and the arm snaps off. Inside, not stuffing, not wires, but bone. The attraction is shut down, authorities are called, and soon, the shocking truth is revealed. The prop wasn't fake. It was a real, mummified human corpse, and it had been hanging there for years. The body was later identified as Elmer McCurdy, an outlaw from the early 1900s who had been embalmed after his death. His corpse had been passed around as a sideshow attraction, eventually forgotten in the funhouse. They finally laid him to rest in 1977. To make sure he stayed buried, officials poured 2 feet of concrete over his grave. The Bunny Man. It's late at night in 1970, and a couple is parked on a quiet road in Fairfax County, Virginia. Suddenly, the window shatters. A man in a bunny costume is outside, swinging an axe. "You're on private property!" he screams before disappearing into the darkness. More sightings follow. The Bunny Man is seen lurking near a bridge, chasing people with an axe. Some say he was an escaped convict. Others believe he was a local man who went insane. The police never caught him, but the legend took on a life of its own. Today, locals call it Bunny Man Bridge, and every Halloween, thrill seekers gather there, hoping, but not really hoping, to see him again. The Green Man. It's the 1950s in Pennsylvania. People whisper about a terrifying figure who roams the streets at night. A man with glowing green skin, a twisted face, and sunken, empty eyes. Children call him Charlie No-Face. They say he lurks under bridges, waiting for someone to get too close. But the truth is far more tragic. Charlie No-Face was real. His name was Raymond Robinson, a man who had suffered a horrific accident as a child, losing most of his face and being left severely disfigured. He avoided people in daylight, but at night, he would go for walks along the road. The legend turned him into a monster, but those who actually spoke to him said he was gentle and kind. People in the walls. It starts with small things. Strange noises at night, food going missing, items moved from where you last put them. Then, one day, you find a hidden door, you open it, and inside the walls, there's a nest. Blankets, food wrappers, human waste. Someone's been living inside your house. This isn't just an urban legend. Cases like this have been reported across the world. In 2008, a man in Japan installed security cameras after food kept vanishing, only to discover a woman had been secretly living in his cupboard for a year. Some intruders were caught, others vanished before they could be identified. But the scariest part? Most homeowners had no idea how long they had been watched. Le Loyon. Deep in the forests of Switzerland, hikers report seeing a figure, a man dressed in camouflage, wearing an old gas mask, silently walking the same path every day. For over a decade, he became known as Le Loyon, the ghost of the Swiss woods. He never attacked anyone, never spoke, just watched. Then, in 2013, a single object was found in the woods, a discarded gas mask and a cryptic note, "The world does not understand me." Le Loyon was never seen again. Some believe he took his own life. Others think he's still out there, just waiting for the right time to return. Cropsey. For years, children in Staten Island whispered about Cropsey, a crazed man who lived in the woods, kidnapping kids who wandered too far from home. It was just a scary story, until the children started disappearing for real. Between the 1970s and 1980s, several kids with disabilities vanished, only for their bodies to later be found near an abandoned mental institution. Then, police arrested Andre Rand, a former hospital janitor with a disturbing history. He was living in the ruins of the asylum and was connected to multiple disappearances. Rand was convicted, but some of the missing children were never found. What's worse, witnesses claim he didn't act alone. Some believe there was an entire underground cult, one that may still exist today. The Toxic Lady. In 1994, Gloria Ramirez was rushed to a California hospital, gasping for air, but as doctors began treating her, something horrifying happened. A strange chemical smell filled the air. The nurse's eyes burned. One collapsed, then another, and another. The entire ER staff had to be evacuated. Gloria's body fluids were found to contain dimethylsulfone, a chemical linked to nerve gas. But how it got into her system remains a terrifying mystery. Gloria died. Her body was placed in a sealed casket and buried to prevent further contamination. But to this day, no one truly knows what happened to her. Only that whatever was inside her was deadly, the smiling man. It's past midnight. You're walking home alone when you see a man in the distance. He's tall, thin, wearing a suit, and he's smiling. Not a normal smile. A wide, unnatural grin stretched across his face. He starts walking toward you, but not normally. His steps are exaggerated, almost like he's dancing, and no matter where you go, he follows, his grin never fading. This urban legend spread online, but then people started sharing real encounters, especially in Seattle, where multiple witnesses described being stalked by a smiling man in the early 2000s. Some believe the smiling man is just an urban myth. Others think he was a real person, maybe multiple people. But one thing is certain, if you ever see someone grinning at you in the middle of the night, run. The Watcher. In 2014, a family in Westfield, New Jersey bought their dream home, a beautiful 6-bedroom house. But before they could even move in, the letters started arriving. I am the Watcher. My grandfather watched this house in the 1920s, and now it is my turn. More letters followed, describing the family's children in disturbing detail. Do they know what's hidden in the walls? Soon they will. The family called the police, but no one could find out who was sending the letters. After months of terror, they were forced to sell the house at a huge loss. To this day, the Watcher has never been identified. The new owners refuse to talk about it, and the house? It still stands, waiting for the next victim. The vanishing hotel room. A mother and daughter check into a Paris hotel. The mother isn't feeling well, so the daughter goes to get a doctor. But when she returns, the room is empty. The mother is gone. The bed is freshly made. The hotel staff says she was never there. Panic sets in. The daughter searches everywhere. No one believes her. Eventually, the police investigate and discover that the mother had died of the plague, and the hotel covered it up to avoid scaring guests. This legend became famous, but similar cases have happened in real life. Hotels silencing witnesses, guests disappearing under mysterious circumstances, and entire records being erased to hide the truth. The silent twins, June and Jennifer Gibbons, were inseparable. They spoke only to each other in a secret language, avoiding the outside world. But as they grew older, their behavior became more disturbing. They would mirror each other's movements perfectly, engage in violent acts, and write chilling diary entries about their bond. One of us must die so the other can live. One day, Jennifer suddenly collapsed. No cause of death, no explanation. June simply whispered, "It was meant to be." June went on to live a normal life, as if her sister's death had freed her. But to this day, no one knows why Jennifer died or what dark pact the twins had made.